Welcome back, everybody. I think you know what this is. Courtesy of Christian Whitehead and Company. Sega said they couldn't do it themselves, so leave it to the big boys and girls. And that presents us with Sonic Mania, finally, for PC. Oh, what a story. I'll get into it in a bit. First, I think we have something animated to look forward to. Biggest smile ever on my face right now. I'm so glad I waited and didn't spoil that for me. Wasn't easy. And that was the worst part of the delay. Because we all know, or at least we all knew how tough it was going to be for anybody who was stuck getting the PC version to avoid all the spoilers that would be on the internet. Sega didn't care though. They probably didn't even think about that. What, people are that excited to play our game? Oh, we don't care. Money, 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 money. But anyway, I'm going to try not to be too bitter about the whole ordeal. If you're not bobbing your head, what's keeping you holed up? Time to shake that dust off your feet and your shoulders. And I think we've caught ourselves in a time paradox. And we're going to end up in Green Hill probably, because where else would we start a Sonic game? Every game has to start in Green Hill, right? Yeah, they've officially milked that cow dry. The well is fresh out of water, but try telling that to them. So, I'm just glad to get going. This is not my first attempt at this. So yeah, the game was delayed for 2 weeks for PC. Then on the 29th, I think it took a good 10 or 11 hours for it to actually be installable. Again, this is for folks like myself who pre-ordered the game well in advance. So yeah, delay after delay, and then when it's finally up and going, guess what? All sorts of issues. They tried to slip some DRM protection at the last second. And oh man, there's just so much to say. I don't know how coherent this is going to be, so just bear with me. As far as the blue sphere stages, I did see some videos of this beforehand. I know how many of these there are going to be. If I stop and do every single one of these and record it, the videos are going to get very long very quickly. So what I'm going to do is leave this one in just to show folks who are not as familiar with this special stage. You know, the ones from Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles. But moving forward, I'm going to edit them out. I'm still going to complete them because finishing these is going to give us medals that will unlock new features and extras in the game, I think. Not 100% sure, but I know that this is not the main special stage here. We're going to have to find giant rings to get those, so something to be on the lookout for. And you know, I'm looking forward to exploring these stages, so every added incentive is going to be a bonus. Not that they needed to give me any more reason to do so. Because you know, I actually played Sonic Retro back in the day. And we got our perfect by Christian Whitehead back when he was just getting started, as far as we know. And I played Sonic Mega Mix, which I believe was by Stealth, who has also worked on this game under the guise of Headcanon. So these guys have definitely been around the block and then some. And I really enjoyed those games. There are a lot of Sonic fan games that I do not know about. I've heard that Sonic Before and After the sequel are very good. I have no experience with those. I might want to look into them at some other point. But long story short, I have full faith in Christian and Stealth to get the job done right. I'm sure Sega probably stepped in every so often to try to get in their way because that's what they do. But so far so good. The controls are good, just perfect actually. Everything moves how it's supposed to, and I can use my Xbox controller. Thankfully, it didn't recognize my Saturn controller with the USB, which was sad. I really wanted to play with a Sega controller. That would have just been the best experience. But at least I have a D-pad, because when I first tried to start the game, it was only recognizing the keyboard. And this problem was not peculiar to me. I checked the Steam forums and it happened to a lot of people. So there have been a lot of issues. There have been random glitches. If you're not online, the game won't even let you boot it up. So if you have a shoddy or a spotty internet connection, I could see that being a potential issue. Now, apparently Sega says that it wasn't supposed to be the case. Yeah, okay. We believe you. You've always told the truth, right? They said they're working on it. I don't know if they're actually going to fix that. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't even have done anything if nobody had complained about it. So thankfully people are speaking up. I do hope they change that, because I would like to be able to play this game without being online, because sometimes my internet craps out on me, and that would be a shame if I'm in the middle of a game and I lose my connection and that messes up the game, or doesn't save my progress, or I just want to boot it up again and I can't. So, which kind of brings along a whole other host of issues and problems we should be discussing if we haven't already. I know I haven't. Just the whole de novo and DRM and all the digital protection and all that. It carries bigger implications and potential ramifications if we leave it unchecked. I mean, again, we're not thinking long term enough, I think. So we need to get away from this instant gratification for a little bit. Just, ask some serious questions, because what happens a few years down the road, something happens to Steam, or something happens to your internet connection, or something happens to your computer. Are these games gone for good? Something to think about. Games you paid for. But before we get into that, we've reached the first special stage, and I'm expecting this one to be easy because it's the first one. Just want to ease us into the game. And we're going to play a little game within a game here. And I'm not talking about the special stage, which was always one of the best parts of Sonic games, because these are essentially mini games. Self-realized, their own mechanics, their own features, their own little curve, their own little swings. But I'm actually talking about all the references to other Sonic games in this game. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff that's going to go way over my head, because I'm not the most diehard Sonic fan. Again, I'm really old school classic kind of guy. I played some of the more recent stuff, but I don't really care for that style of play in most cases. I tried the Generations demo and I didn't even care for that too much, so I'm really in the minority. I'm sure the full game is fine, but it's just like, I don't feel like paying a huge amount of money for it. That's the thing. I pretty much stopped at Sonic Adventure 2, I think. So, but the racing games are really good. That's a whole nother conversation. I say all that to say some of these references are not going to get caught, but I will point out the ones that I can. Like this special stage in and of itself, after a few seconds in here, I picked up on the fact that it's pretty much paying a homage to every special stage that came before it. If you look at it carefully, it's a mishmash of just about every one. You've got the psychedelic visuals like the birds and the fish from Sonic 1. Okay, it's not so much like Sonic 2, that might be the exception. It definitely carries a lot of elements from Sonic CD in terms of the look. Sonic 3 and Knuckles, the blue spheres make a return here, and the yellow spheres, and we're done. Before I can even finish talking about it. And it also takes some cues from Sonic Jam and Sonic R in terms of Sonic's model, so yeah, they just clearly showing their love for the series here. Far more than Sega ever could. And to be fair to Sega just a little bit, we have to remember that when we say Sonic Team, this is not the same Sonic Team from even 15 years ago, let alone 20 plus. All the major players, Naoto Oshima, Yuji Naka, Hirokazu Yasuhara, none of these guys are still around. Nakamura, the original Nakamura. All these people have moved on to greener pastures. So we have to keep that in mind. People like to pick on Iizuka. Not that I'm a big fan of his, but he just doesn't have the right mentality. He doesn't have any attachment to the old games, I don't feel like. Like when he joined the team, it was probably around the end of the classic saga, so he probably doesn't care anything about him. And we can see that in some of his comments. Like, he really doesn't think anything about the Game Gear games. Anybody remember when Generations came out and people asked if there would be Game Gear stages remade, and he just kind of laughed at that? Like, what? Why would we even? What are you thinking? Just collective slap in the face to all those 8-bit lovers, you know? But I don't care what he has to say. No school like the old school, right guys? So, main goals in the early stages, I want to get acclimated to this drop dash. I have a feeling it's going to be very useful once I get used to it. Not quite there yet. So it's going to be something to work on. Again, apologies if you're looking forward to seeing the blue sphere special stages. I'm going to be doing most of those off screen. There's another giant ring. And I'll be back to that in a bit. Okay, so I didn't do too well on that one, but I did get a perfect before. I'm noticing some input lag with the controller. That's going to be a problem with those. Alright, number 2, let's see how we do here. So this is actually pretty easy to get the hang of. You got to collect the spheres to increase your speed. The rings will keep you in the game. It's basically serving as your time meter. So actually, that's a reference to Knuckles Chaotix too, now that I think about it. Because in Knuckles Chaotix, they were pseudo 3D stages, and you also had to collect rings to stay in the maze. So it's sort of the same thing at work here. So yeah, they just pulled out all the stops. It's like a Sonic sandwich here. And now we just need to add a little bit of ketchup to this delectable delicacy. If I can catch that UFO, I'm not sure if I can make it on Mach 1. Now I'd like to avoid going to Mach 3 because I have a feeling that's going to be faster than I can control. And I'm sure that ring outs are going to be a thing here. So, with that in mind, yeah, you see it trying to juke you. Yeah, I saw some videos of this on somebody else's channel, so I kind of was hip to it. Yeah, I did my best, guys. I tried to wait the full 2 weeks without seeing any videos of it, but I couldn't do it, man. I had to look at a little bit. I haven't spoiled everything in the game for me, but I have seen a little bit of footage, so this isn't a complete surprise. This is my first time playing, but it's not as blind as it could be. Again, that was the most disappointing thing about the delay. I was all set to go on launch date. I was going to stream the game live, just that pure blind commentary, just my raw reactions. So many plans derailed and deferred. Courtesy of our good friends at Sega. I mean, money, money, money. Gimme, 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 honey. But I'm not one to hold a grudge. Let's be bigger people. Yeah, I was just trying out that drop dash. Again, the sooner I've got this thing under wraps, the better off I'm going to be. And no chance of catching them to those stars now. But it's fine. There's plenty of star posts in these stages, it looks like, so we're going to have every opportunity to sample those blue spheres. And I'm not going to be showing it off anyway at this point, so you really shouldn't care. Man. And see, that's what I love about this team, you know. They're not just rehashing the same old thing, even though appearances would lead you to believe that, because again, we're looking at Green Hill for the 50 millionth time. But look at how fresh they've made it. Not just the visuals, not just the music, but just the gameplay elements, the level of interactivity. You know, having a fire show that actually burns down the bridge. They actually thought about that and implemented it. You know, it's clever in a good way. You know, it's not gimmicks that are just forced on you, like speed pad after speed pad after speed pad after spring after launch pad after boost pad. You know, and the enemy placement, I'm sure it's going to be an issue here and there, but it already seems like it's much better than the classic games. So they've really improved there. And there are just so many places to go in these stages. They're perfectly designed where I can just tell you can blaze through them in under a minute if you know how to move and you know where you're going. But you can also spend 5, 6, 7, probably 10 minutes in these stages. I probably don't want to spend 10 minutes though, because I'm imagining that there is a time limit just like in the classics. So, gotta be careful with that. And want to avoid the water. Yeah, I'm going to keep this fire shield intact. Thank you. So what's your favorite shield anyway? I'm kind of partial to the bubble shield, even though it's arguably not the most useful in most cases. Unless you're in a water stage, obviously, but I can't help it, that bouncing is just so addictive. Flame shield's not bad either, though. I mean, lightning is probably the most useful overall because you got the double jump and it pulls rings towards you. But, yeah, I don't know. I like bubbles. I like water. But how about you? And right now this is sounding like Sonic in the Dreams. The music, nice little nod to Naofumi, one of my favorite Sonic composers. Also sounds the music was very much inspired by Sonic CD. It's like a Sega CD Saturn hybrid in terms of the style. But they did say they were going for a game that was better than Genesis, but not quite what Saturn would do, so somewhere in the middle. Which kind of puts 32X where, I don't know. We're better off. Yeah, 32X was kind of an odd thing. It's like, they called it 32-bit, but it wasn't really, was it? It was just slightly better Genesis quality. I don't know. I only played a few games for it, and none of them were very memorable. Even Knuckles Chaotix was just mediocre at best, and that's probably giving it too much credit. It has some fun things about it, but it's not a game I could wholeheartedly recommend to anybody. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have some fun with it, though. But anyway, we're just relaxing here, cooling out, kicking back, enjoying the sights. The greens and the browns, the lovely hues and shades of nature all around us. Oh, and it's a good thing we got that bubble shield. Gotta know when to trade in your tools. Now I'm gonna try to keep it, so I'm gonna be a little careful here. Now see, the shields is always a dicey affair because I know they can reflect a lot of enemy projectiles, but I'm not sure which ones, so I'm not gonna risk it. And in case you couldn't tell, this is post commentary after the fact, so I was going to record it live eventually, but because this game was giving me so many issues in the onset, I said, you know what, I don't want to be recording and then have something happen and then I have to do the whole thing over from scratch. So I thought I'd play it safe, record the game, then go back and add some commentary. So I hope you guys can understand that. I just really don't trust Sega at this point and the changes they've made to this game last minute. You know, what they call optimization. You know, sort of like somebody breaking in your house and taking all your stuff and like, yeah, let me just get this off your hands, lighten your load. Oh, thanks a lot. I really asked for that. But yeah, I think in the next episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about the potential dangers of DRM rather, de nouveau, and why it is a big deal and why you should care. Uncle Sam finger pointing at you here. But we'll save that for the next episode because I think we're just about done here. We're going to do one zone per episode. I think that'll keep things at a reasonable length. Oh, they're gone. And so are we. Where are we going to end up next? I think you know. Where else but Chemical Plant? The most overused Sonic 2 zone there is. But who doesn't love it? It's all about the music. Everybody loves the music. Yeah, but we're not going to stick around. Guys, that's it for now. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. You've probably played the game or seen it in action for yourself at this point. But if you haven't, or you just love it that much, you want to just see another take on it, stick around. We're going to have some fun. But before I go, I want to see something if I back out of here. Because I've been collecting a lot of medals. Yep, we've unlocked Time Attack and Competition, which hopefully I can do online or off. And we got the Super Peel out from Sonic CD. I'm looking forward to using that. Okay, now we're done. Yeah, you can see how many medals I have there. 3 gold, 1 silver. That was my slip up. But until the next episode, have a wonderful day. Take it easy wherever you are. Don't overdo it. And hopefully, Sonic and I will see you really, really soon.